Hey, g'day everybody. In this series of lessons, what I'm going to show you how to do is create a basic website using Adobe Muse. So the first thing you can do when you open Adobe Muse is go into Create New, and this will bring up our new site dialog box. Just open Advanced Settings. I'll take you through these. For us, what we might do is we might just change this to fixed width. Okay, and let's leave the page width at 960 pixels. We might make 3 columns and the guttering with 20 pixels. Let's leave that. Minimum height, we don't have to worry about that. We can leave that. We can leave everything else. Sticky footer, that just means the footer of the website will remain in place no matter where you scroll on the page. Now, the page width is set to 960 pixels. What I'll do is I'll explain what that means in more detail in class, and we'll do some little examples as well. So that's all you need to do for that. So just click OK, and what you'll do is you'll be in this plan sort of view here. So the first thing you can do is if you hover over here, you can use this plus icon to insert a page. So at the moment this is our home page, and click the plus icon to the right and we can add more pages. Might just add 3 pages for now just to keep it simple, and double click and you can rename the page. So let's call this one about. Might not use all capitals, but it doesn't really matter. And I'll double click over here and let's call this one I don't know, something like contact. So you'll notice that these 3 pages here have something called an A master attached to it underneath. You can see the writing there. Now, in this section here, we've got master pages, and this one's actually called A master. So basically, this is what's known as a master page, and anything that we do on this page will appear on every other page that has A master attached to it. Okay, so a good thing to use a master page for in a website would be to put your header on it, possibly your logo, definitely probably your navigation bar, and your footer. All things or elements or content that you want to appear exactly the same for consistency on every page in your website would go onto there. And they are only ever editable on the master page. You can't edit a master page element on the contact page, for example. Alright, so what we'll do first is we'll start working on our master page and get the basic setup structure of our site ready to go. So if you double click the master page here, it will take you to that page. You'll notice it appears on another tab. If I want to go back to the plan view, I can either click on plan here, or I can click back here onto website, which takes me back to the plan view anyway. So, alright, and back there I can go to design. Alright, so first thing we'll do is we'll just have the move tool selected. We might just fill the browser. So you'll notice we've got a fill up here. We haven't used a shape or anything at the moment. We can either fill this section of the browser of the website here, where our 960 pixels range from. So we've got 0 pixels up here. You'll notice there's a ruler there, and all the way up here is 960 pixels. And this line here and this line here represent the maximum width of our website. Okay, so what we can do is we can actually go outside those parameters and fill our web page with a color, which is often what websites do. So to do that, we can use our browser fill. So if you click on browser fill, and I'll just do a quick example. I can fill it with a color. Let's just say yellow. Looks really bad, but what that'll do is that'll fill the whole of the browser. So whenever we are in our internet, our Google Chrome browser, for example, that's all yellow. So I'll show you how that looks. To preview the site in your web browser, you hold Command, press Shift, and press E, and that will preview the site in your web browser. So you'll notice the yellow is all the way across. Okay, now the difference if I go to and use fill here, and I just choose a solid color, let's just say green, and I click out of that. So this will set a color just for the maximum width of our web page, which is 960 pixels. Okay, so browser fill will fill the whole browser with color, and the fill will just fill our maximum width section just with the color too. All right, now I'm just going to undo both of those things. What you can also do is you can also do a browser fill. You can also add an image if you wanted to. So I might just, for example, put this image in there and clouds, and if I want it to, usually scale to fill is good because it fills up the whole of the browser there. Okay, and so that's there. All right, I could also then go back and add a color if I wanted to over the top of that. All right. Okay, I'm going to undo those things. What we're going to do is, with our browser fill, we might, just before I go, you can also add an image to your page fill, I guess, just from here to here if you wanted to. But first of all, let's go in here, and what we might do is we might add a gradient because that looks kind of nice. So if you click the gradient button there, go to color, I might just choose like a really kind of pastel-y pink there, and to like a darker type of pinky purple there. Alright, I might go with a pink, black and white color scheme for this example. Alright, click OK, and there our browser is filled with that gradient. So let's preview it again, Command-Shift-D in the browser, and that's what it looks like. Very nice. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to create a banner. So just a simple banner of color, which our navigation bar will sit on top, and our logo can go in as well. So to do that, grab your rectangle tool and we'll draw a rectangle out from here to about here and then fill it in the color. Now, if you want your banner to be a little bit thicker than this, grab this handle here, just move it down, drag it down. Okay, so let's draw our rectangle, and it's important that your rectangle snaps to the bottom line and also to the end line. You'll see it snap to it when it, as you can see, it kind of turns red. All right, and just make sure, get your move tool, that this snaps there as well. Now, watch what happens when, if I, for example, haven't, once I snap this to the end, you can see the width is changing in pixels, but when I get to the end, it goes to 100%. That means it's touching that end and it's touching that end. So that will actually stretch to the size of the browser. So no matter the screen size that you're on, it will stretch all the way to both ends. And I'll show you how that works in a tick when I fill it with color. Let's just fill it with white, and we won't worry about stroke or anything like that. And let's preview it, Command-Shift-E, and there it is. So because we stretched that shape to 100% of the browser, it's going to go all the way across. Whereas if I didn't do that, if I do this, for example, and I might pull it across like that, okay, it's not going to stretch all the way across the browser. So what we want it to stretch all the way across the browser, so we make sure that we go snap it to there, and we grab the other end and then snap it, and you'll notice it goes to 100%. Okay, so that's that one. Now the next bit is, let's just let's put our logo in. So if we want to place a graphic in Muse, all we need to do is go to File, go to Place. It's just very similar to InDesign, and I might just get I don't really have a logo, so I'm just going to get this thing that I've got for my YouTube channel, and I'm just going to place it in there, and I might scale it down with a corner. Now you don't have to hold Shift to constrain the proportions like you do in Photoshop. It'll do it automatically for you, and I want it to fit in my banner section, so it needs to actually go up and in. I might just put it there for now, and I might just put it at the 0 pixel mark right there. Alright, Command-Shift-E, let's look at it in the browser. It's really important that you keep testing your website in Muse so that you can see what you're designing. Testing is it's really important to do. The last thing I want to do is add a footer to it. So what we'll do is, this section down here is the footer section, and this handle acts the same as the header handle if I want to have more space for my footer, I can, or if I want less space, I can make it really small like that. But I'm just going to leave it as the default. I'm going to grab the text box. I'm just going to draw a text box out, and I'm just going to do copyright John Conomos. I might just write John Conomos 2017, and I can go into the text box up here. If you can't see these panels, go to Window, find Text, and you'll see it, and click it. I'll just keep the default font. I'll just center that. I'll keep it black for now. I could change all these text settings are pretty much the same as in every Adobe program, so I'm not going to muck around with it too much. You could change the size of the box if you wanted to. Now, in order for it to be a footer element, the trick is I need to actually right click it and go to footer item, and what that's going to do, it's going to allow me to put it in there, and I can't push it further down. If I don't have it as a footer item, I'll undo it with Command Z. It's just going to be a normal page element, and if I move down, whoops, I need to undo that. If I move down, it'll start to push the page down because it's part of the flow of it's in the flow of the page. So right click it, footer item, and then it's going to be in its footer. Okay, one other thing you can do is if you want a little copyright symbol in there, I'm just going to double click to get back in there. You could go into glyphs. Again, if you can't see it, go into Window, find glyphs, and there should be like a little copyright symbol in here somewhere that I could find. There's an @ symbol, and there's the copyright symbol there. I'm going to insert that just so it looks a bit cooler. Alright, and you can muck around with the position on it. Now, let's just have a look at, let's go back to our plan view, and if we go to our home page, you'll notice that the designs are the same, and with every other page that we look at, everything that is on the master page appears on all our other pages as well. And because I'm in my contact page, I cannot edit any of these elements unless I go back to the master page, which is over here, and then I can move them around. So let's just preview it, Command Shift E in our browser. And there it is. That's the beginning. That's the basic of our website. So that's the master pages and our banner, the document setup, footers, and adding our logo. Okay, so in the next video, what I'm going to show you how to do is we're going to put a navigation bar in there, and then we'll look at a couple of other things as well. Okay, thank you. Bye.